everyone. Welcome to the third webinar series for the Millennium Fellowship, class of 2020. I'm really excited to be your host this moment. My name is Kendi Adebi and I'm joining from Nigeria. I'm the program coordinator for the Millennium Campus Network and also an alumnus of the program. It's really exciting to connect with all of you from different parts of the world. So let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, and thank you so much for joining. It's really great to see all your fantastic faces, and I'm particularly excited because of this special webinar series that we're having today. So as you've seen already today, we have a webinar series featuring our alumni, and we have 4 alumni joining us from different parts of the world that did exceedingly well during their fellowship program. But before I move into that, I would love everybody to introduce yourself in the chat box. Tell us where you are joining from, your name, your campus, your university, and the country you are joining from. Let us keep that going in the chat box. I can see we have Mikali joining from Kenya. We have Oyinkosola joining from Nigeria. We have, exciting persons here. We have Mirel. We also have Samantha. Looking forward to a great and fantastic section with you all. So let's keep the introduction going. We have Deborah Ojo also from the College of Medicine. You are welcome. That's from Nigeria. Welcome to the Global Webinar Series. And certainly you are going to have a fantastic discussion. So while that is going on, just in one word, let's repeat the tradition of our last webinar series. Can you basically describe how you are feeling about this webinar just in one word? For me, I'm excited about it. And also I'm optimistic, yes, optimism, of the great discourse we are going to have. So just share in one word, how are you feeling about the webinar series? Elated, I can see. Why is the elated? I can see, excited here also. I can see fantabulous from Abigail Oppong. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, the session will be fantabulous. Expectant, injury, Muri, expectant. I can see Mali Joshua in Ale, Olayinka Oyinda Mola, grateful. Mutoli Kibaya, power. And I can see Oluwato Sinluwa on excited. Tina, curious. Oh, wow. And Mirel, excited. Oh, it's great. We have varying thoughts from excitement to curiosity to optimism, to feeling elated, to being ill. It is really nice, and yeah, let's dive in. Let's see what our alumni has for us today. So the first part of it is to hear from our alumni and introductory aspects of them, and it's going to be a fantastic session just to set the agenda for today. We are going to have a few questions from myself to the alumni that certainly will be enlightening. Then I will open the floor for fellows to ask questions. Feel free to send your question in the chat box, and certainly we are going to have that answered by the alumni. Looking forward to great discuss. Also great. Thank you so much for joining. We have Tolani Odukoya from the Lagos State University, was the class of 2018 Millennium Fellow. We have Feba Cherian from Arizona State University. We have Thiago Esslinger from Georgia Tech, and also Abigail from Ashesi University. These are fantastic fellows that did amazingly well during the fellowship year, and we are more excited, more than excited to hear from them. So I will call on Feba to share with us about herself, what she does now, and also let us know, what does the Millennium Fellowship mean to you? What do you see the community as? And can you just let us know, what you do currently and what does the community mean to you? Over to you, Feba.
Hi, everyone. My name is Feba Cherian. I was the 2019 campus director at Arizona State University. So my project was called the Student Health Outreach for Wellness Project. So this is actually a student-run free clinic with many volunteer outreach arms here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we pretty much provide free healthcare to the homeless population. In downtown Phoenix, there's a big homeless population. So my project was specifically measuring the numbers of people that we directly impacted. Every year we have a health fair. So through the Millennium Fellowship, I was able to collaborate with other students in my cohort at Arizona State University, as well as other members of the community, and create educational and outreach programs. And through this fellowship, I really learned the impact of community. I learned that it is important to collaborate on things because you might not necessarily know what the best thing for this task is. So you can collaborate with other students and really understand the impact of social community. So another thing as well that I really learned from the Millennium Fellowship was really just focusing on, I know right now especially it's probably different, it looks a little different than when it was for me, because with the COVID-19 and you're not able to meet in person, but I really encourage all of you guys just to continue to collaborate with each other through Zoom or any online, devices that we have now. And I just want to encourage you guys. You guys are all doing such wonderful work, and I can't wait to hear more from the other fellows as well.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Feba, for that fantastic introduction. It's exciting to see that, you work on a particular project, and seeing that the fellowship made you understand impact in the community and also the power of collaboration. To me, that's the major takeaway, because the community of everybody everywhere. Thank you so much for sharing that. Moving on to Thiago. Thiago, you want to share with us what the community means to you? What did you work on as a Millennium Fellow? And yes, what do you currently do if you want to share that? Thank you so much.
Sure, yeah, thank you. So hi, my name is Thiago Esslinger, and I was the campus director for Georgia Tech for the class of 2019. And, I just want to start by saying the Millennium Fellowship itself is a tremendous opportunity to connect and learn about the community, and also see, what other leaders on your campus and really throughout the world are doing. So my project in specific was called Green EDU. And the idea behind it is to provide education on sustainability to incoming university students. For me, when I got to university, this was really a whole new realm that I had to get used to. And it wasn't education that is really provided at any level, elementary, middle, high, or college. And from there, this was a project that, at first, me and my team, we had an idea, and we wanted to build from there. And what the Millennium Fellowship really helped us show is, when creating solutions with the community, it's really important to be able to go into the community, listen to them, and make sure you are constructing a project or a solution that is really benefiting them and listening to their voice. It's not really something for them, but with them. And with this project, it was a tremendous experience to be able to hear what other members of our cohort had to say, with feedback on our project and giving feedback to their project. And, like Feba said, that sort of intercollaboration is extremely useful, especially when you have members of the community who are focusing on different disciplines or different subjects. It is something that, I will never forget the experiences I learned, and something I will continue taking on when I look towards helping the community.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thiago. That's fantastic. And, your word that you just want to make impact, and the fellowship brought you to the proper structure of how to do things and letting you understand that you do not only do things for the community, but also do it with them. That is listening to their voice. Yes, that is what I think the fellowship also stands for me also in particular. Thank you so much for sharing that, and we are looking forward to hearing more from you. Okay, great. Moving on to Tolani Odukoya from Lagos State University, Nigeria. Kindly share with us, the class you were in, and what is the Millennium Fellowship to you? What was your project on, and how do you see this community? Hi, Tolani. Okay, I think Tolani will join in soon. I can see Abigail also the other time. Abigail, you want to unmute yourself to share with us what does the fellowship means to you, and what project did you work on? And yeah, just that Feba and Thiago shared also.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Abigail Lapon, final year student from Ashesi University, and I was a campus director at my time also. And being part of NCN was very great for me, because I just started doing something, and at first I didn't know what to do, but being part of this helped me to understand what leadership is, because I was leading other leaders also. And so I got to learn a lot from my other colleagues as well, because we all have stories that I think sometimes we should sit down as young leaders and then share, and then see how best we can help each other. So through this MCN, I was able to really learn a lot from my colleagues, and we were able to also do a lot of things together when it comes to collaboration and then partnership. So my project is called Universal Care for Africa, where we help the underprivileged people who cannot afford basic medical equipment and then tools to have access to them. And we've been doing great over the years since I started with MCN. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail, for that insight. And I think, what I observed from Feba, Thiago, Abigail is a sync of that. Like MCN is a pedestal, the fellowship itself is a pedestal towards, like advancing the social cause. And for me also in particular, that also is my story in 2018. I can see Tolani Odukoya back with us now. Tolani Odukoya also was a fellow from Lagos State University, Nigeria. Can you share with us, like, what did the fellowship means to you? What was your project on? Just like we have it from Feba, Thiago, they have done amazing work. Over to you, Tolani.
All right. Thank you very much, Kende. And I must say, I'm so excited to be here today, like so super excited. And, it's so exciting to know that Millennium Fellowship gave me the first platform to which I started my, social impact journey, basically. I never had an idea of what, the whole social impact of the thing meant until I, joined Millennium Fellowship in the class 2018 back then. I mean, I think it's like the most amazing thing that ever happened to me back then. And, from since then, it's been like a quantum leap for me in my social impact journey. And I can remember one of the projects I did. Okay, the project I did during my during our class then was called SDG Store. So what we did then was that we realized there was an educational poverty, around some remote community in my environment. So we decided to incorporate, SDGs education and global citizenship education. So we realized that a lot of children, because we realized that if we must truly achieve the SDGs by 2030, we need to, get everyone involved. The motto of SDGs is leaving no one behind. So, I mean, there must be inclusiveness. So we realize that some of these younger people, younger generation in secondary school, basically, they do not have any idea of what the SDGs is all about. So we needed to promote the knowledge of the SDGs, up to optimally in secondary school. So, and I mean, for me, it was an exciting moment because, I got the opportunity to pass the knowledge of what I learned from Millennium Fellowship across, other younger people out there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tolani, for that fantastic one. It was amazing. Let me say this. I worked with Tolani also in 2018. We are from the same campus, and he shared me that the Millennium Fellowship was his first experience social impact. It's really amazing that gave him the road, the path to really understand how to create projects. And his work on the SDG Tour, I'm from Nigeria, certainly I've gotten a lot of feedback and so many social change maker advancing social goals. So I think it's really exciting to see that we have Feba sharing their experience in a project, also Thiago, Abigail, and Tolani, doing amazingly well and leveraging on the premise, on the fact that the fellowship was an eye opener to them, for them rather. This brings me to the next question I would love to ask all of them, then I will just call on each of them to answer is that, how did your experience as a Millennium Fellow shape your outlook towards social impact? That is, what does the Millennium Fellowship contribute to you? How does it shape the way you see social impact in your community, in your university, on your campus? So I would love to start now with Abigail. Abigail, do you want to share with us how do you experience doing the fellowship shape your outlook towards social impact?
Yeah, I think that's a good question because when I was introducing myself, I said something that MCN helped me personally to shape and then structure my projects as a whole because when I was working, I didn't really know a lot of things when it comes to working in maybe an NGO or any kind of nonprofit organization. So MCN helped me, and as I said, I was a leader, and I was also working with other young people. So what we do is that we all come together, we share our stories, what really inspired us to start our project. And then at the end of the day, we get to break our project down because I find out that some of us have so many ideas that we want to do, but just that sometimes they are very broad and we need to narrow them down because we are young people and most of us, for me, I didn't have most of the resources. I want to do like something big, but I didn't have the resources. So MCN really helped me to bring things down that will help me to make the real impact because when I brought the tent down. I really saw the measurements and everything was going on well. And one thing I also say is that as young people coming together to share a story, we find out that it's something that we need to be doing. And I think that's what MCN is doing, that we as young people, we should really pay much attention to these social works, and then look at how we can also help maybe our governments, other NGOs and all that also. And one thing I want to also share is that MCN also helped me to know that if you don't have the resources to do something, you can always look up to somebody. Let's say maybe I want to work in the hospital and maybe I don't have the resources to start. You can look out for other NGOs, do your research about them, and then see what they are doing, and then see what you can also do to help that NGO. You don't need to be the CEO of your NGO before you can make an impact. Yeah, so that's something I also learned, because along the line, when we share our stories, I also get to learn from others, and I also get interested into some people's projects, and at the end of the day, I also get to contribute. Yeah, so that's a short story that I will share.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail, for sharing that fantastic one. I think the two cross points that you have, the first is that the fellowship helped you to, make a smart goal, so to say. That is, you want to change your world entirely at first, but through the fellowship, we're able to focus on a particular one. And secondly, a very important point to me is that you can certainly make impact with limited resources, or possibly no resource at all, just by partnership, collaboration. And I think this is what the fellowship also stands for. I think, Feba, would you want to share with us how the fellowship, how does it shape your outlook towards social impact?
Yeah, I loved everything that Abigail just said. I was just about to just kind of second all of that. MCN really taught me kind of like the foundation of social impact, and my project itself was kind of founded on everything that I took away from the Millennium Fellowship, right? So MCN values that our community prioritizes these three values, right? Empathy, humility, and inclusive leadership. So I try to really lead my cohort as well as my project on these three foundational values. And I think collaborating with other students during these sessions really opened my eyes, because they knew like some resources that they had that I was never aware of. So I think it's really important, while you guys are in this fellowship, to continue to just talk to each other and collaborate with each other, because you can just take your project to the next level. And I want to encourage all of you as well to continue to create ideas, right? During this time of COVID, and it's hard to convene in person, but I think just continue to encourage one another and again, form ideas and create the new norm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Feba, for that. Seeing now the fellowship really strengthens your power of collaboration. Thank you so much for sharing that, and also recognizing that we are in a unique time during the COVID-19 pandemic, and solidarity, better through collaboration, is needed than ever before. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thiago, looking forward to hear from you. How does the fellowship shape your outlooks towards social impact?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say it had a great impact, and with what Abigail and Feba have already said, it's we could go on and on to speak of all these great things. And I will, because with something like social impact, sorry, did I cut off there? I realized.
No, we can hear you. It's fine.
But yeah, sorry. So I was just saying, for something like social impact, it really is everywhere, and you can make a difference in everything you do. Don't disregard the small things that you do, and keep in mind that, like Feba said, it doesn't, social impact itself should include the empathy and humility and inclusion. So it doesn't have to be the one project, the one solution that's going to change the world, because the reality is all of your projects are going to change the world in one aspect or another. And being with the Millennium Fellowship, I've already gotten connected with people on my campus and around the world. It's amazing to be able to see other people doing similar things to you or completely different, but then still work with them and have, you know, many outcomes that will benefit many people and get more people involved. It's really about helping that community and the involvement and making sure that people are thinking of others throughout the entire process.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thiago, like for sharing that. To echo some of your points again, like, you know, the ideas of local is global is very reflected in the fellowship. And that, you know, the fellowship makes you to understand that despite the many challenges we have in the world, you know, seeing like minds, pushing hard, working together through the ideas of collaboration really give us the opportunity to that, yeah, the future certainly will be better off. So thank you so much for sharing that. At Tolani, I'm so sure that the fellowship certainly also changed, you know, your ideas of social impact. So can you tell us, how does the fellowship shape your outlooks towards social impact?
All right. Thank you very much, Kende. You know, interestingly, Millennium Fellowship has had a last-long impact on me, and reason being that there is no achievement whatsoever, you know, I can point at in my social impact journey that is not traceable to, you know, my experience at the Millennium Fellowship. Because I mean, everything I have known to date in my social impact journey, Millennium Fellowship is like the bedrock of, you know, everything. So it's been so pedestal. So I can remember, you know, interestingly, Kende Adebi was my campus coordinator back then. I'm so proud of him. Like, I'm super proud of him. Trust me. You know, there's one particular session I attended during my class day, during class 2018, of course. And, you know, Kende taught us about empathetic leadership. You know, the whole session, you know, gave me a different perspective about leadership, basically. You know, I used to think that as a leader, that you have to be at the forefront of, you know, of everything you do in an organization. You need to be at the forefront of impact, you know, but it's not. You know, immediately I got exposed to, you know, Millennium Fellowship curriculum about empathetic leadership. I got to realize that, you know, as the CEO, as the executive director, whatever you call yourself in an organization, you need to democratize opportunity to people, you know, under you. You need to let them, you know, give them the opportunity to lead change and also bring out the best in them. And, you know, one thing I must not forget is the fact that I learned for the first time in my life, I learned about speed networking in Millennium Fellowship. And as a matter of fact, it's been one of my memorable experience at the fellowship. And today, I can begin to count the number of great minds, you know, in the development space I've met just because of that, you know, singular experience I had at the fellowship. And, you know, I must commend the fellowship. Like, I must really commend the fellowship because all of the resources and tools I got exposed to had helped me, you know, build my organization. And I must say that in my local community at the moment, my organization is doing pretty fine. And all thanks to Millennium Fellowship.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tolani, for that. It's really exciting to see that you shared myriad of points sincerely. And just to pick some of them, like, it's really great working with you today in 2018. And I'm really excited to see that you could share that the fellowship exposed you to the ideas of empathetic leadership, which is needed than ever before. Thank you so much for seeing that. And also the fact that, you know, what struck me in your response is that you said it affirmatively, that the fellowship is a bedrock to all your social impact achievements. That is exciting to hear. And I think, thank you so much for sharing. And I'm sure the fellows, everybody are inspired. Just a quick note before we go to the last question for the panelists. We are moving on very soon to the moderators, to the question and answer sessions from fellows. Put in the chat box your questions. Don't forget to put in your name, where you are joining from, them. Send in your question, and certainly we are going to get in there. So moving on to the last question from the moderator angle, we want to look at what has helped you get to where you are, and what advice would you have for other fellows who may be working on similar goals or want to continue engaging in social works? That is, you may want to share where you are currently, though, but what advice do you have for fellows? What has helped you get to where you are, and what advice do you have for fellows who really wish to advance their career in social impact sphere? So I would love to start with Thiago. Thiago, do you want to share?
Yes, I would definitely say apply what you learn, you know, through this fellowship to everything you do. And you know, one of those big things that you'll go through with your weekly meetings and learn with your cohort which I found tremendously useful, is the importance of delegation and making sure, with successful leadership, you're going to need to, as was said before, democratize the process. But delegation on that front, making sure that a project is really never run by just one person. It really always is a team effort, I believe. And making sure that everyone feels included in that team process, that the end goal is seen and everyone knows where they're going and wants to go to that place. And it's okay if there is, if there are multiple ideas at the same time. That diversity of ideas will allow more opportunities to open up. And that's something that, from the Millennium Fellowship since last fall, I have just kept with me and applied to other projects that I've been doing, because it's something I find will be useful throughout the rest of my life, and I hope with yours as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Thiago. Feba, do you want to share where you are currently and what advice do you have for the fellows?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just to kind of echo Thiago, I loved everything he said as well. It's really just, especially for the leadership, I want to just encourage you guys throughout the meeting, just constantly be engaged with the fellows, right? Sometimes it can be mundane, and sometimes the meetings may be a little long, but I think what the main takeaway is just to constantly engage each fellow, right? This could be as easy as saying that everyone needs to input their project updates, right? What they're working on. So personally, just engaging with them. I think that really helped me, as well as my co-campus director, when we were leading our cohort session meetings. So that's definitely an advice that I could give you guys. And another one is also just remember to have fun. This is a great and enjoyable fellowship, and this will really teach you what social impact is all about. And like Thiago said, take this as you go. Even when you graduate from this program, use it in other organizations. Use everything that you've learned. Just constantly apply yourself to elevate for the next social impact and next project that you're working on.
Thank you so much for that, Feba. I think that's very much amazing. Tolani, you want to share?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think my take-home message for the fellows is that you need to understand that at every point in time that you can only achieve less in isolation. And I said that to mean, collaboration is key in whatever you do, especially as a Millennium Fellow. So identify core people you can, engage with in the fellowship, towards the actualization of your project, of, whatever project you hope to implement. Find people, engage more. And why I'm saying all of this is because most of the people I met in the fellowship back then, I am still actively in touch with them. I mean, we've done massive, tremendous stuff together. And I mean, if I never engaged with them back then at the fellowship, I mean, I wouldn't have, had such network with them. So collaboration is key. Work towards partnership. I mean, that is very important.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tolani, for sharing that. Abigail?
Yeah, I think my colleagues have said it about. Just add some few things that we should really pay much attention to research when it comes to researching about our projects, what exactly we want to do and all that. So I think we should pay much attention to that, because at the end of the day, when you don't do your research, you will go and then come back to where you started from. So I think that's very important. And one other thing is that as a fellowship and fellows on campus, we should also work together as a group. We should check up on each other. Okay, maybe hi Kia, what's up with your project? How far with it? So that you can share ideas with each other, because sometimes some people may be going through some challenges that might maybe hinder them from progressing and all that. So you checking up will make the person also feel motivated, and maybe you also sharing your story also help the person feel motivated. So we should also share our stories with our colleagues. Yeah. So that's what I have.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Abigail. As we are moving on to the queer, and just to re-echo the basic tenets of what they all said, Feba, Thiago, Tolani, and Abigail, all of them affirmatively encourage the ideas of collaboration and continued partnership. That is, partnership in the fellowship should not end after the fellowship program. Continued partnership towards implementation of projects is critical. Abigail emphasized on research. That is, research your specific objective, why you doing the project, and really know what you want to do. So I think now is to open the floor to questions from fellows. So I'm going to call on you. I'm missing question in the chat box. I'm missing question, but do not forget, send the question in the chat box, put in your name, where you are joining from. We have Azan joining from Greece, the American College of Greece. Do you want to share with us your question? You can just unmute yourself, Azan.
Hello, thank you, dear Kenny, for giving me this opportunity. I would like to ask, especially for Ms. Feba. She mentioned about provide kind of support for the homeless people. Also, my question include the alumni. I believe that the social impact can be sustained if we can institutionalize it. I mean, like NGO, kind of association. Did dear Feba manage to create this kind of NGO to sustain your effort? Very, very meaningful effort that you did. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. So the organization that I was part of, it's called, again, Student Health Outreach for Wellness. So this was already an organization that was set before I entered the Millennium Fellowship. It's actually been an organization for the past, I want to say, 7 years. So it is an NGO, and I do work collaboratively with them. But yes, it's something that I've realized that it's an interdisciplinary organization. So there are people from medical school, pharmacy school, there's undergraduate students, there's from a wide variety of disciplines. So it was really important for me to kind of understand the importance of collaboration, learning from each different specialty, right? And the way that we sustained it was, again, constantly communicating with each other, having meetings, having sessions, and just like the Millennium Fellowship, we had organization meetings for show specifically, and we continue to have, even with COVID right now, we continue to have sessions, and we have street runs where we pack things for the homeless population. So that is one way that we sustained the organization.
Yeah, thank you so much for the fantastic response, Feba. I really hope that is very helpful and insightful. Okay, great. We have Jemima Ruka. Jemima, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question?
So my project initially involved outreach programs on the disadvantages of improper waste disposal, water purification, and stuff like that. We wanted to reach out to secondary school children, especially secondary school children and communities, but we are restricted by the virus now, so I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to carry out my project, because it mainly involves me moving and me meeting the target audience physically. So that's my question. What do I do? How do I continue?
Okay, great. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think in simple thoughts, you're asking like COVID-19 altered some parts of your project, and what advice do the alumni ask for you? I can see Abigail. Abigail, do you want to like possibly share your thoughts on that? And maybe also Thiago might also share his second thoughts on that. Abigail, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, I think the COVID-19 has really created a problem for us all. But I also think that we can also make the best out of the situation. So for your situation, I think what you can do is to, do further research on other ways that you can also do to maybe get in touch with the senior. Even if, I don't know, for your country, I don't know whether you're in Nigeria or Uganda, I don't know. But for Ghana here, the lockdown is not in session. That's, you can go ahead and then do whatever you want, but just that you have to protect yourself. So for our side, we can go ahead, but just that schools are not open. Yeah, so what they are doing now is to get the people on WhatsApp, the schools on WhatsApp, maybe the students on WhatsApp group, and then start talking to them, and then maybe the moderator can do a video and then share with the students on how to. So you said waste management. So what you can do is to get in touch with the headmaster or headmistress of the school and then see how best you can reach the students, even if it's maybe creating a WhatsApp group or maybe your group having a video and then sharing with them, and maybe possibly, I don't know the country and how the restriction goes there, maybe you can arrange with them to have a meeting with them whilst you also observe the safety protocols. Yeah, so that's something that's...
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Abigail. I think Abigail really answered the question specifically for Jemima. But Thiago, maybe let's make it a bit more generic and very much important. In that, would you want to share how you had to author your project during the COVID-19 pandemic, possibly to move virtually? What did you do? I think that also certainly will help Jemima and other fellows.
Yeah, so, one of the big challenges is how do we really go about outreach? And with our project in particular, for trying to get sustainable education at our university and really, at other universities, hopefully as well, we started with the idea of having an online interactive website. And I think with any project, trying to look at what mediums already exist, especially online, and, thinking about maybe social media, email outreach, sometimes even online flyers that you can, click on and a link pops up. And as Abigail said, the WhatsApp, if you can make a message that is able to be you send it to someone and they can forward it to, just 2 people, maybe more. And then those 2 people then forward it to 2 more people. And then, it goes off, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of people listening to your message or whatever it is you wanted to say. So, I mean, with a project during COVID, I would really just say, try to look at what platforms already exist. And if they don't exist, that's a great project to work on. I would definitely, recommend thinking about online website application, and there are many platforms that will help you build your own platform if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for that. I think we have some other questions here, but I think I would particularly love Tolani also and Feba to also share some insights on this question, because it's very much important to the current reality. So Tolani, how were you able to move your projects virtually, and is there any advice you have for fellows having challenges in doing this?
All right, thank you very much. So I would just love to build on what Thiago and Abigail said. It's interesting that we are all being affected by the impact of this global pandemic, and it's just one of the ways by which we could all iterate and get things done better. For my organization, we normally do physical meetings. I mean, we go out there to public schools and stuff like that. But being affected by the pandemic, we needed to move our project virtually. So our organization has an hallmark. We have a trademark project rather. So our trademark project is our mentorship program. We run a yearly mentorship program for disadvantaged children. So because we could not, reach out to them because of the global pandemic, so we needed to make it virtual. So what we do is that we provide, data subscription opportunity for, our participants, and we have to reach out to their parents, let them know they'll be needing the assistance, all the gadgets they need, and all of those things. And that's how we've been able to reach out to them through our mentorship program. And we also send them weekly emails. So all of the things our mentors would love to communicate with them. Because of network, sometimes we send them emails, motivational quotes and all of those things. And we've been engaging with them like that. And we also have a WhatsApp community, just like Feba had said. Just like Thiago had said, we have a WhatsApp community through which we engage our participants. And in a matter of days, we'll be launching the second quarter of our mentorship program. I mean, it's been amazing that way.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really exciting to see that despite the pandemic, you're moving forward. That's great thoughts. Feba, you want to share how you've been able to modelize the project?
Yeah, sure. So kind of like what everyone was saying, right now, the COVID-19 pandemic has hit everyone, right? It's not just one country or another. It's kind of affected all of us. but what I would say is, again, just continue to engage in Zoom. So like such as these webinars that we're doing now, even continue to engage with other people through Zoom, or just make an effort to show that you're willing to put in the work and that you're engaged in constantly. I think right now with my project specifically, we're able to, right now we're taking the precautions as necessary. We're actually going out to the streets and still giving out bags to the homeless population. We're just maintaining that, again, that social distancing rule, 6 feet apart, masks. So we're continuing to do our project, but just in a safer manner than before. And I think that's even better. So that's what I want to encourage you. If you are able to go out and do your project, please do take the precautions. But if not, that's totally fine. Again, social media, like Thiago said, is a great tool. And we have different platforms that we can constantly engage on, and there's different websites also that I've used in my projects. So if you guys are interested, just definitely let me know, and I can send some in the chat as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Feba, for that. I think the crux of this response is that, yes, everybody quite agreed that the COVID-19 pandemic has really changed, virtually everything. But there's also a need for us to continue impacts. Like the SDGs are more necessary than impossible in this reality. And noting that we must leverage on the ideas of virtual resources, leverage on, I think perfectly, Feba shared quite a lot of platform, but the best is to look at it locally. What works best for your people in your country? What is that platform that you can best engage with persons? Is it Zoom? Is it WhatsApp? Is it Google Meet? So understanding that is very much important. And I love the point where Tolani shared that not only do you understand the platform, you also understand the reality that some persons have limitations to possibly even join the platform, either through data subscription, internet availability. So there's a need in your little way, though it might not be quite much, but in a little way to see how you can also integrate these provisions for such persons. And I think with that, we can continue advocacy, we can continue implementation. Thank you so much for sharing that, panelists. Also, moving on, we have Zano. Zano asked a fantastic question. Will you want to unmute yourself? Introduce yourself, your name, where you are joining from, and ask your question.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jana, and I'm from Kazakhstan, but my university in Hong Kong. So I have a really, thank you so much for sharing. It was really nice to meet all of you guys, and thank you. And actually, I have a question for Feba, because you mentioned about NGO, and because I'm in another country now, and my project is for Hong Kong University. So basically, it's a bit difficult to find NGO and connect with them. So how, maybe you have any advice how to communicate with them, or how to contact, how to collaborate, and like anything will be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So are you able to, do you have any connections to that university? You said you currently go to that university, to Hong Kong University? Oh, sorry, I think you're unmuted. You're muted.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so you said you attend Hong Kong University?
Yes.
Okay, but you live remotely right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I would definitely try reaching out and finding some advisors, or some professors that work at that university, and maybe connect with them through email. That's what I always do if I need to contact. I know mine, I went to the university that I was affiliated with, so it was a little bit easier for me, but I would definitely reach out to some professors or some advisors at Hong Kong University and see if there's any way that you can connect, and maybe like connect with an NGO there. They might have more resources than you might have. So definitely make an effort to email them, and just constantly, if you could call them as well, I would do that. Again, it's all about just constantly being engaged. So how far do you want to be involved? So as long as you're passionate about your project, just keep putting in the work, keep emailing them, keep calling them, and just connect with them that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Feba. I think it's a very fantastic question. I will look up other panelists to share their thoughts, particularly Tolani. Do you want to share, like, how were you able to connect with NGOs that collaborated with you in providing resources? Like, what are the strategies you want to share with fellows that want to also, like, trade this link?
All right, thank you so much, Kehinde. And one untold truth that we all need to know is that in this social development space, I mean, you can't just do without challenges. And you know, one of the challenges I would say I've encountered over time, especially running my non-profit organization, is, you know, being the ability to form collaboration, especially with top organizations. I mean, you know, they see you as a small organization, and you know, one way or the other, they feel you are trying to take away the impact, supposedly the impact of their own organization. So they feel like, why is there a need for them to collaborate with you when they actually have all of the resources they need to, you know, implement the project you are bringing on board? However, there are ways you could go about it. So for my organization, what we do is that we reach out to other organizations, of course, on social media. We let them know, okay, so you also need to understand that while reaching out, you need to, you know, bring something to the table. You need to offer a value. So over the years, I've come to realize that a lot of people, especially in the non-profit space, you know, they'll just reach out to you and tell you, hey guy, I want us to collaborate. And by the time you ask them, what are you bringing on board? They just say, nothing really, I just want us to collaborate. So it's like they just want to associate with that brand. I mean, that organization. So it's very important you always bring something on board. And once they see the value you're bringing on board, they will definitely want to, you know, form collaboration and partnership with you, definitely. So reach out to people as much as possible. So, you know, a friend of mine is currently organizing a health tech summit. You know, he told me he had sent about 100 emails to different organizations, and he only got 10 positive, you know, response. It's always like that. You can't do without, you know, all of those challenges. However, you know, one of the ways to identify a great leader is the ability to identify, you know, and handle challenges. So it's one of those things you encounter. Right, so just know how to go about them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tolani, for sharing that. Challenges are certainly inevitable, but with resilience and consistent, I think, pushing, we'll do that. Thiago, do you want to share a bit like strategies over there from your insight, you know, to collaborate with top organizations, move in partnership?
Sure, yes, thank you. So I cannot speak directly to working with NGOs. But I can speak to, you know, working with university departments and reaching out to people. And one of the things that I've found very useful is, you know, as Tolani said, reaching out to as many people as you can and plan beforehand. You know, one of the things that you can do with your project is maybe think about making a strategic plan. It can be rough. It doesn't have to be exact, and you don't have to follow it step by step. But think about what you want to see, what goals you want to make for yourself or for your team, you know, for the next week or for the next month. And then come to your Millennium Fellowship meetings prepared to maybe discuss your project and hear feedback from other members of your cohort. Then, you know, if you want to reach out to professors or other programs, or, you know, this could also work with NGOs, come with a plan, an outline of what your project is, what your goals are, you know, what is the most outlandish, far-fetched idea? Where would you want this project to go? And if you come with this strategic plan, I would like to say, I think people will get a, you know, quick and better idea of what you want the project to be and what it is right now and like where it's going. And maybe you can share that vision with whoever you want to collaborate with.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thiago. Like to echo his point, basically, is that interestingly enough, the collaboration you may be looking for might be within the university system. So I think, thank you so much for sharing that. And going out to reach out to the university department, to professors. That's amazing. And also sharing that there should be a strategic layer. I think that was corroborating Tolani's claim that you should know what you want from them. Don't just go that, oh, I want you to sponsor my project. Let there be a layout. Feba, do you want to share some thoughts also on that?
Yeah, sorry. Can you clear that question up one more time?
Okay, great. What are the recommendations you have for collaboration and partnership with NGOs? You know, or you want organizations to fund your project or partner with you? Is there any strategy?
Yeah, so I know some of the fellows that were in my cohort specifically, they needed funding for their project. So at my university, there is like a specific department that deals with funding. So we definitely communicated with them, and we emailed them, we called them, and we set up connections there. So I think it is important. And I didn't know about that. I didn't know that we could receive funding specifically from that department. So that is, again, something that I learned. So again, constantly talking to each other and collaborating with one another to find the best resources for your project. What you guys need to focus on is what works for your project might not necessarily work for someone else's project. So again, constantly just talking to each other and engaging in different aspects of your project will definitely help you guys. So again, another thing also I would say is, I'm trying to think of like other aspects of like different organizations that I've been a part of. Taking knowledge from other organizations as well was very helpful for me. I learned what my friend Carla did in her organization. Again, she was my co-campus director. I learned what she did in another organization, and that definitely applied to me as well. So again, collaborating is, I know we've been all talking about it this entire webinar, but really focusing on community and collaboration is the main key.
Yeah, thank you so much, Feba, for that. Abigail, we love to cap it all on what they said, like, the ideas of collaboration, is strategic idea from your end?
Yeah, I think they've said it all, but what I'll add is that we should also take advantage of this social media platform. Anything that we do, we can start sharing and all that, because that's what I do. I just share anything that I do. If anything comes to mind, I just share, and then through that, there are people who reach out to me because they feel like what I'm doing is real, and the passion that I have for it, they think is going to sustain. Because most of the time, if people want to partner with you, they also want to look at the sustainability and what you want to bring on board. So you showing them how sustainable your project will be through storytelling, and then how you are going far with your project on social media, I think will also help.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail, for that response. I think it has been an amazing responses from the panelists. Firstly, tend to have a strategic plan. I think that was shared by Thiago and also corroborated by Tolani. Also, the ideas of like understanding that, also utilize your university system and bring a value system, create a value system that particularly goes in sync for me. What do you have to offer? And in our last webinar where we had Sam said always offer help. How can I help you? So I think this is perfectly in sync with that. It has been a fantastic response thus far. As we're rounding up, and while we ask fellows to share final thoughts, permit me to give a shout out to Okoyemi Okundayo that has been giving talking points on the chat box. I could see definitely she has been giving so many talking points. Let me read some of her points. She said, the sharing point from the panelists: don't just look around the world, the collaboration needed might be right within your environment. She also said resources might be available, you only find what you seek. And she further also made it more interesting. Community and collaboration is equal to successful social impact. And she also said, spread the message, let others know what you are doing. I'm really excited and proud of you. Like, these are amazing feedback from the fellows. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okoyemi, it's really amazing. And I'm sure the panelists also are really very glad that you did that. So as we are moving on to hear from panelists, their final thoughts and advice to the fellows, we also want to, fellows joining us from the world, you shared your thoughts when you joined the webinar that this is how you are feeling. Can you just share also in one word, how has the webinar been to you? For me, it has been expository. I learned new ideas. So you can share also in one word, what has the webinar, the impact it had on you? So I would love to start with Tolani, your final thoughts and advice to fellows. You can share that just within a minute.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's been amazing so far. Trust me. Okay, so one thing I would love to say is that, I mean, leverage on social media. Use social media for social good. Regardless of what you're doing, if you're not blowing your trumpet, nobody will get to see, what you're doing out there. Blow your trumpet as much as you can. Let people out there see what you're doing. Let people see, the undying passion you have for social good. And that way, you never can tell, you begin to attract investors, you attract, collaborators, and, form stronger partnership. And, my final word will be that, try to understand why you started out in the first place. Thank you very much. I hope that's well exposition.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tolani. I think that's very much exciting. Before me to Feba, I could see impactful and eye-opening, educative and exciting. And why, panelists share their final thoughts, I'm so sure that fellows here want to connect with you all. So you might want to share in the chat box the best way in which fellows can connect with you, your preferred platform. Can you share in the chat box? So Thiago, what was your final thoughts for fellows?
Never close your ears. and find what works for you. You know, I really think listening to everyone around you, everything, all the time. And I've already learned so much from this webinar, you know, from our panelists and also from the chat. This is just, it makes me very hopeful, you know, for what solutions we can make together. But also, you know, some ideas have been suggested here. You know I mentioned strategic plan, and maybe a strategic plan is different to you than what it is to me or what it is to any of the other panelists. So really try to find what works for you and for what your group can really do to, you know, take your project to the next level. It's different for everyone, and that's what makes it amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thiago. I think the word never close your ears and find what works for you. It's really powerful. I could see Emmanuel on the chat box echoing that, and some other fellows. Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, we have okay, thank you so much, Mutoni. Amazing notes. We have good social intermedia presence. We have informative. This is really fantastic. So moving on to Feba, what are your final thoughts to the fellows?
Yeah, so I think my one advice would be take as much advantage of the opportunities given to you in this fellowship as possible. I learned so much through so many of our webinars that we had, and even our weekly sessions that we had at our university. So just want to encourage you guys, how much ever you're willing to put into this fellowship is what you'll be able to get out of it, right? So just continue to engage with one another and continue to be inspired. I think that's my one advice that I could give you guys.
Thank you so much for that. Like, you know, takes advantage for what's available for you and continue to be inspired. Thank you so much, Feba. Abigail, we want to share your final thought for fellows?
All right. So yeah, my final words to all fellows is that you should never give up, and then in times of challenges, see it as an opportunity for you to innovate around your project and all that. And also talk to people that you think will help you, and then increase your network.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail. I think it's been very, very much amazing moving from the ideas of how the fellowship is a super staff to everybody joining here, and myself in particular. Maybe just to cap it up, I started the SDG advocacy in Nigeria, and I started with just about 20 members doing my fellowship project. And now we have about 20,000 persons across 8 universities in Nigeria. So it's really amazing, and the fellowship is the major pedestal to this success story. So we are looking forward to the great news, great impact, and even having some of the current fellows coming in next webinar series as alumni, sharing fantastic thoughts with same energy we had from Feba, Thiago, we had from Abigail and Tolani. Thank you so much for joining. Just a quick note to the fellows, we have another webinar coming up on Thursday that certainly will be amazing with Rakesh Rajani. October 1st, you know, see you there. The registration link has been sent. Check the newsletter, and also we send a follow-up reminder. It will certainly be amazing, just like we had today. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Kenny Adibi, Program Coordinator, Millennium Campus Network. You can call me Kenny, and looking forward to meet with you on Thursday. Thank you once again. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.